And I had to make a conscious choice as to whether or not I could help make this marriage work, or whether I was going to get out. And I did a lot of praying at that time and realized that it takes two, and if he wasn't willing to help me, then I couldn't make it work alone. And we struggled, and I tried really, really hard to make our marriage work, and it just didn't. So I chose to step out at 21 years old with a baby and nothing to go along with it, because he took my car. He basically took everything that I had in order to make it harder for me to make the decision to go on my own. I never went back. I never went to live with my parents. I never depended on anyone. I said, I can do this, with God with me, I can do this. And I struggled. It was very difficult for his family because they believed everything that he said, and why wouldn't they? It's their son. Why wouldn't they believe the stories that he's telling them, that I'm keeping his son from him, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that? And that wasn't the case. And finally, God made them realize that wasn't true. And his family is simply amazing. His grandparents, his uncles, his aunts, their family has just been an incredible support. But I was really young, and I had no clue what I was doing raising my child. I went from waitressing to bartending to anything that I could to just have cash in my pocket to pay my bills, and all the while making tons of mistakes. And they are sponges, is exactly right. I mean, everything that you do, they learn. And it took some time to really be enlightened of the changes that I needed to make in my life. I was just trying to support myself and, thinking that all the while, I've got a roof over his head, I'm a good mom, and all of those things, they just aren't enough sometimes. And I realized that I needed a lot more in my life, and he helped me to see that too. His grandparents, they belonged to Spring Hill Baptist Church, and they encouraged him at a very young age when he would go stay with them, to go to Bible school and go to church with them. And I wasn't doing that because I always had an excuse. I was too busy working. I was working sometimes 7 days a week, and I still do that to this day. But it was very important to have church in his life and to help him through that. And when I finally realized a lot of the mistakes that I was making as a parent, I realized that I was making those mistakes because it's all I knew. All I knew growing up was my parents working constantly to raise 3 kids. We didn't go to church. We didn't do those things. And now I realize how important it is to have God in my life, put God first. And my son, I don't know if you know him, but I get really emotional when I talk about him because he's ridiculously amazing. I'm so proud of him. And I don't know how I did it. And I guess I don't know exactly how I did it, but I do know that when I realized that, he sees everything that I do, I realized that I had to take that step and keep him on the right path. He's 21 years old. He has his AA, and he's going for his bachelor's in photography. He owns his own business. He works at the YMCA. He goes to school. We're now working together. I'm a wedding and event planner. I marry people. I plan weddings. I plan all sorts of events. And we're now opening an office together, working together. And God put us there. We were baptized together last year, which was just the greatest day ever. I mean, I can't explain all the things that have happened since he and I have been going the journey. For a little over 2 years now. I'm sorry. Sorry. For a little over 2 years, we belong to the Journey family, and he actually started coming here before me, and he's like, and I heard about it, and again, I just made all these excuses as to why I couldn't make it, and he just said, Mom, I'd really like for you to come with me, and that's it. We've been coming ever since, and it's helped us to grow closer. We pray together, we spend time together, and I just wish that I knew when he was really little all the things that I know now. But I didn't have anyone guiding me, and I feel really grateful to know that you all have such a great group of women. I mean, this is amazing. I don't know, I'm sure you guys realize how amazing it is to see each and every one of you here right now. I never had anything like that. And if I would have had that through the time that I was raising my son by myself, I don't think I would have struggled as much. I went from absolutely not having a clue what I wanted to do with my life to realizing that if I didn't have a clue, my son was never going to get it. He was never going to understand that to be successful in life, and I don't mean having a great job and making lots of money. I don't mean that. I mean just being in a great place in your life and having wonderful friends and family and people that love you and support you. You need this support. You need the church. You need God in your life. And knowing that now, Robbie and I have achieved so much in the past 2 years. We both have amazing jobs. I mean, jobs that we absolutely love. We make really great money at it, but that's not what matters. What matters is we're so extremely happy in what we do. I marry people. I plan weddings. All I do is make people happy. I bring them together. I mean, what greater joy could you have than to do that? God has blessed me in so many ways, I can't even explain it. And for Robbie, I gave him a camera for Christmas a few years ago. And right then, it sparked in him the talents that he has, the passion that he has for taking the photographs. He loves what he does, and it comes out in the pictures. And then knowing that we can actually mesh and have a career together and an office with my kid, are you kidding me? I mean, I can't believe how blessed we've become. And it's all because of being here in this church and praying and growing closer and knowing God. And I don't really know what else to say about that other than the fact that don't lose sight of it. Always keep hold of it. I just wish that, I had the support when I was raising him, because I made tons and tons of mistakes. And when Robbie looked at me when he was 19 years old and said, Mom, I'm ready to move out. It was probably one of the hardest days of my life. But I knew that I had raised a really wonderful young man. He has the love of God in him like nobody's business. And he's so good with other kids. I'm like, I know that he's ready. He's ready for this, and all I can do is be happy for him. But inside, it was just tearing at my heartstrings. It was killing me. And I knew that I had to handle it correctly. And I was standing there and I was just praying. I was like, God, please don't let me break down and cry, because then it's going to make him cry. He's going to not want to leave me. He was so worried. He's my man of the house. He was so worried about taking care of me. And that was wrong of me to allow that to happen to him. He thought he had to be the man of the house. And that should never be the case for any kid. I mean, it's just too much on them. And I know that. And he was so worried about me. And he went out on his own, and I was like, okay, I want to call him tonight. I want to make sure he's safe. I want to do this. And I just had to force myself not to. And then the next thing you know, he was calling me and asking me, hey, Mom, can we have dinner? How are you doing? And now he actually comes over and spends the night with me. And, we go and we do things together. And it's just brought us much closer together. And I just know struggling, I probably depended, I mean, as a single mom, you sort of depend on your child to fulfill certain things in your life. You really, you get so close to your kid. Just remember that you're the parent. You know, I mean, you want to be best friends. But the one thing that I was always his friend, but I was always the parent. You know, we talked about everything. I never lied to my child. I was lied to growing up. And forgive me for saying this because I love my parents more than anything in the world. But they weren't honest with me a lot of times. So I was deceived, and I didn't know half the things that I should have known. And God gave me a great gift when I was 19 years old. Do I wish I had waited? No, because I couldn't have any more children after him. And so there was a reason why it happened to me in my life when it did. And I'm just extremely grateful, you know, to have him, because I don't really know what God's plan is for us next, but it's going to be huge. So just watch out for that. I don't know what else to say. I can just ramble on.